Recording.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Hi, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Pixel Venture Podcast. I'm Corey.
And I'm in the middle of a pandemic.
Would you like to explain?
Well, I go to school in Boston, and at the time of recording this, and probably as of the release of this, Boston's not looking too good.
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, with the coronavirus...
for anyone who doesn't know, Boston is the next Seattle. And for anyone who doesn't know, Seattle's in trouble. And for anyone who doesn't know, coronavirus has hit America. And Boston's like 2 weeks behind Seattle in terms of like severity. And like Harvard at this point has not just like shut down like their classes, but they've actively been like sending their students home. Which, I don't go there, so I don't care about shit talking it. That's a dumb idea.
Yeah, because then you're spreading, like, if any of them came in contact, you're spreading it back to wherever they came from.
Yeah, send the students, they're getting, like, the equivalent of a common cold, back to their parents. It'll probably not handle it as well because of how the coronavirus works, and is, like, way worse for, like, older people.
Yeah, so for anyone who's been living under, like, a rock, like Jake said, America is currently experiencing the coronavirus, which means somebody played Plague Inc. and knew what they were doing.
I wouldn't be so sure. Like, they started in China. Aren't you supposed to start in, like, Greenland? Or is that
you either start in Greenland or Africa, because less medicine.
So I remember there's, like, one place you, like, try to start in, because I always forget if it's, like, Greenland or, like, Australia.
It's either or, because
it's one of the ones that like only. It's one of the ones that like only has a port where like if they shut down like water traffic or whatever, like you're just screwed and you can't get there. Anyway, America's been kind of getting pretty sick of it, and
sick with it.
Yeah. On the bright side of all of that, I am gonna be going home the weekend that this is going live, and that is also when Corey and Ethan start their breaks.
That means we get to have sushi.
Yeah. And dude, yeah.
It's so funny to me how everything's lining up. Like, yeah. Like, sure, this pandemic can be, like, running through the US, but we're going to get some sushi. We're probably going to go to that ramen place again at some point.
And sure, there's, like, debate whether or not I'll be able to go back to Boston and see my friends there, or, go apartment hunting to find a place over the summer and over next year. But, like, that doesn't matter because we're getting sushi and ramen and, like, playing games at Ethan's house, probably.
Yeah, and if not, then we'll just go to Ethan's house and play his games, whether or not he wants us there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just park outside of his driveway.
So we can thank coronavirus for that, and for hitting Boston when it did, and not like 2 weeks ago during PAXed.
Yeah, because well, thank goodness, because one big thing that's been happening around the U.S. and just the world in general is that a lot of events have been shutting down out of fear of, like, spreading the coronavirus and everything, like Rampage, which is like this huge festival that happens out in Belgium, just got shut down. South by Southwest is ceasing operations. A lot of people are stopping their tours, things like that.
I've heard a rumor that E3 is going to be canceled.
It's too big. If they cancel it, that's going to be like if they cancel it, they're shooting themselves in the foot and will not be able to recover the next year.
Because I saw like some kind of like article or whatever that had the headline that it was going to be canceled, and then like in the comments of it people were saying that like it wasn't an actual release and just a rumor. And there's like a surprising number of people who would actually be fine with there not being an E3.
Yeah. Like it's strange. Because it's like you see how like E3 used to be like this huge thing, like huge, like every single year people would be like freaking out to see what the announcements are. But a lot of the big companies that like brought attention to E3, they pulled out. And it's kind of like the same thing that happened with PAX. Like, you know, Sony doesn't attend it anymore. Blizzard doesn't either. That kind of thing.
Well, Blizzard doesn't because they're dumb and haven't.
Yeah.
And like CDPR pulled out too, even though we didn't really know what they were going to be showing.
Yeah. And like, I understand, you know, safety and everything. And that's perfectly fine. But also it's like, it's a little disheartening where it's like you have all these incredibly like just cool and fun events that happen throughout the year that only like for some of them only happen like, you know, once a year, like PAX and E3 and things like that, and they're just having the carpet pulled under them. And
Someone's a busy boy.
I'm sorry.
Someone's
Raul,
a real
stop!
busy boy.
Oh my god, I'm gonna just throw my phone on the floor.
Don't do that, you'll probably break it more.
No, it's fine. It already has the hole in the screen. It's whatever.
Yeah, it's gonna get worse, dude.
Look, as long as I can still pick up calls with it, I don't care.
With your luck, you're gonna throw it across the room and it's gonna land on a knife you didn't know was there, and it's just going to stab right through the phone.
There's no knife.
Tell me that's not your luck.
It isn't, actually, because there's no knife.
That's what you think.
But, anyways, we went to PAX.
Yeah.
PAX was a lot of fun. We were only there that Saturday.
Yeah.
I ran into a couple friends that I have in college and high school that were there.
Yeah.
It was fun though. It was a lot of fun. I got to play a lot of games. Jake got to play a lot of games. We both went to one panel, which was pretty cool. But yeah, so this is going to be our PAX East retrospective. That's after the point where it would be relevant.
And it only took us 7.5 minutes.
Hey, it's nice to have that, you know, kind of like pre episode thing. Just kind of like, you know, let people know what's going on.
Yeah, you gotta have that pre.
Anyways, the first game that we played when we got on the floor was this game called Swim Sanity. And I don't know if there's any like trailer footage I can pull up for this. I'll probably throw something on the screen to show what the game looks like. But the game's pretty simple. It's you versus the other players, and maybe I think there's a team mode because Ethan did a tournament of it. But it's a lot of fun. And it's weird because you're swimming the entire time. Usually water and games don't mix, like at all. But it's super simple. You swim around. You have this like laser harpoon gun that you shoot at the enemies, or other players. And then there's items, and you have ultimate abilities, and like some of them can be like harpoons rain from the sky. You become a shark that goes back and forth. You stun all the enemies, like things like that. And it's definitely like a perfect kind of party game because it's quick rounds, a lot of fun. You get like very excited when you're playing it.
Yeah.
There's also that teleport mechanic, which it took a while for me to figure it out.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I sucked.
Well, that's because Ethan chose the shark, and we didn't know the shark was the best one at the time.
I was consistently third placed.
Well, okay, you have to admit, though, at the very least, the controls were simple. Like, it was simple and easy to pick up. Like, once you understood the controls, you can kind of, you know what you're doing.
And I think the teleport is bullshit. If you're in the middle of a wall, you go through the wall. You don't go back to the same side of the wall you were on.
Wait, what happened? That happened?
Yes.
Did you teleport into the wall?
You don't if the teleport ends in the middle of the wall, you go back to the side you started on. You don't go all the way through it.
Well, that's what I would assume because it's not a complete teleport.
But
Like you cut the path.
But even if you're most
That's
of the
how
way
Mr.
through
Shifty works.
I've never played Mr. Shifty.
It's Hotline Miami, but teleportation. It's a lot of fun.
But still, like, if you're most of the way through the wall, you should finish, like, the rest of the way there. Is my personal feeling. Even if you're, like, in the middle of the wall, like, you should still, in my opinion, go through the wall. Like,
Then...
just as, like, a way to maximize the otherwise short distance that the teleport is.
My argument against that, though, is that, if you did that, like, you know, teleport into the wall, then people would just spam it if they know that they were in range of a wall.
Well, why not?
It would just kind of, like, ruin the flow of the game.
But, like, there's so many, like, other things to it, though, that I don't really feel like that would be a huge problem. And I feel like teleporting is, like, a big enough mechanic in the game that it shouldn't just be like, oh, teleport to the other side of the player where they can just turn, like, their, you know, aim 180 degrees and just keep shooting. Like, it's not really used as, like, an escape mechanic in that way.
Yeah, I don't think it's supposed to be an escape mechanic. It's supposed to be purely...
Duddy, I'm scared.
Unofficial Pixel Adventure Podcast Let's Play. 1 minute on the clock. Let's go. A giant boulder of death. Gonna roll down this fucking mountain. Yodelay. Yodelay, yodelay. Yodelay. Dude, this game's way too easy. Look at this. I'm just going around all these kids. I don't know how I feel about this game. It just encouraged animal abuse. See what the boulder's doing to this mountain? This is what the coronavirus is doing to the US. You know, I forgot how much fun this game is. I should probably play it more.
I take it back, this game sucks. Alright everyone, I unlocked the goose. I think this is a good place to end it. But wait, I want that too.
Well, looks like 1 minute's over. Back to the episode, I guess.
Sorry for that, everybody. My program crashed and stopped recording, but it's okay, because we're back, and Jake's going to keep saying the thing that he was going to say.
Swim Sanity. You're good people making a good game that's not for me, but I can respect that, because I'm bad at it.
And that's all?
Yeah.
Alright, well, hey, there are plenty of games that we played. Is there any, like, specific games that you played by yourself that you want to, like, I don't know, give like a little shout out to? Because I definitely have one.
You should probably go first then.
Alright, so, there's a game that I played immediately after because you guys went off to do another thing and get soda in, like, these fancy cups. Which, I'm just going to go on this tangent, by the way. That was an incredible deal.
Yeah.
Like, compare that, the price of, like, so, there's this booth called Wild Bill's that was selling these cups for, like, $30 or $45, but you'd get infinite, like, refills with it at the convention, and if you're ever at an event that they're at, you just pay $5, you can keep getting refills like that.
Yeah.
And the soda was really good.
Yeah.
Like that sarsaparilla probably the best soda that I've ever had.
Yeah, they had sarsaparilla, root beer, they had birch
grape,
beer,
orange.
grape, orange, cherry.
Yeah, the cherry one.
Yeah.
Ah, man. And see, like, I don't
And cream
normally like
soda.
soda. Yeah, I don't normally like soda. But, like, I made an exception with this because it was just the cup looked really cool, and then I got a metal straw with it. It was nice.
Yeah,
it was
and
a nice deal.
Yeah, and you only yelled at Ethan and I about drinking soda for the first time of the year like 3 times.
Yeah, because I was a little sad that I broke the streak.
Oh no, you broke the streak because no one's ever had a cheat day.
Oh my god, Jake. Regardless, before all of that, there's a game it was just a small booth. One guy at it when I first got there, named JC, and he was showing off this game that he made called Trackher. And well, it's called Trackher: The Dual Hand Disaster. And so I played the Switch version, I believe it's also on Steam. And the way the game plays, I'm going to try to explain it as, like, you know, easily as possible. So on one side of the screen, with the left stick, you're controlling one ship that's shooting enemies as they come down. And on the other side of the screen, you control another ship that is floating around this map, trying to pick up materials and upgrades for the ship on the left. And the whole point behind this game is that you need to get enough materials where you can extract and save your score, because, and this is one of my favorite mechanics of the game, your score doesn't matter unless you live. So if you die and you have like 200,000 points, you lose all of it. The whole idea is basically how much are you willing to risk to try to get like a high score, because there's abilities that let you like multiply like the points that you get, but also you add like a ton of enemies to the screen. And then there's also like these constant things that come at you where it's like you have to pick up materials to keep the link with the other ship. You have to run into this safe space in order to fend off a firewall that comes in to kill the person on the right. Because the ship on the left is invincible, but the one on the right has health, and that's how you can lose. If you let enemies pass through the left side, they appear on the right side. And unless you you're in shield mode and bash them away, you can't get rid of them. But yeah, it's super fun. The soundtrack's pretty simple. It uses voxel graphics, I believe, where it's like, it's essentially like pixel art, but 3D. It's like pretty easy to work with. But it's so much fun. It's only $10. I highly recommend people picking it up, especially if you like games where you can kind of throw yourself at it for like different periods of time and just have fun with it. It's definitely not a game that I would play like for like, you know, long periods of time. I feel like doing like a few rounds each time I play is enough. But yeah, lots and lots of fun. It kind of gives me the same energy as Enter the Gungeon. Corey, throw a shield up, it's been too long. Because Enter the Gungeon has that same kind of replay value for me, where it's like you do a couple rounds here and there, then you jump off, and then you can come back to it. Like it's one of those games where you can constantly be going back and forth, building up your skill.
Now, that all sounds well and good, but how does that compare to Animal Crossing?
Don't get me started.
I just did. I literally just did.
I was going to talk about the Gungeon arcade cabinet because they had it at PAX and it was a lot of fun.
Okay, then light gun do that then. Just ruin my entire tangent.
No, I will. I'll go back to it for a second. Like in a second, because with the Gungeon arcade cabinet, it's everything I could have wanted. The light gun feels a little inaccurate, but overall, I feel like it's a solid arcade machine. I can't wait to see what arcades they put them in around me, because I'm definitely going to be feeding some quarters to it. I think the graphics are great. The music's great. The redesigns for some of the characters to make them look more human is strange to me. But it's also like, you know, arcade hardware, up the graphics, that kind of thing. I didn't expect the same pixel art from the original. But, as Jake mentioned, I got to play Animal Crossing New Horizons before anyone else. Except for the people at PAX. Before anyone else except for the people at PAX. Because it was the first official demo that was released for the public. And when this goes up, like this podcast, it'll be officially, I believe, because the podcast goes up Saturday, yeah?
It should, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it will be a little less than a week than when the general public gets their hands on it. So yeah, Animal Crossing New Horizons. So the demo that they had available, you were doing the 4-player multiplayer mode, which they advertised. They put it in the Nintendo Direct, where you can play with 4 people on a couch all together, do whatever you want. It's a little limited for what I could experience that way, because there's a bunch of people being like, oh, I want to experience this, and this. So we tried a lot of like things, like a little, but we never went really in depth with it, which is fine, because I'm just going to sink a lot of hours into this game. I already know it. For For anyone who doesn't know what Animal Crossing is, it's a life simulation game. That's just the best way to describe the entire franchise, because it's a life sim game with like anthropomorphic animals who are like your neighbors, and you just kind of live your life and, you know, make your town pretty or whatever. And each game kind of has like something new to it that it brings to the table. And the big claim to fame for this one is the fact that the entire island you can design yourself. You can make it look however you want. There's terraforming. You can place all of your neighbors' houses wherever you want. There's crafting. There's a lot of new things. So there's a ton to go through, but I'm going to be very like brief with it because of just, if you're interested in Animal Crossing, you're already picking up the game. And if you're on the fence with Animal Crossing, there will be more than enough content out there to help you figure out how you feel. For me personally, I'm a big fan of the franchise. I've been playing since Wild World on the DS. Fantastic game. A lot of people say New Leaf is better, but I just have better memories with Wild World. But yeah, it's solid. It's a lot of fun. The new mechanics, especially the wardrobe at the Able Sisters store, so you can change your outfits, or like you can buy a full outfit all at once instead of buying each individual thing and being asked like, do you want to put it on? Do you want to keep it in your closet or whatever? Like, that's very nice. Like there's a lot of quality of life changes that I can appreciate. Also, just in general, the game looks great. I know the Switch isn't the most powerful hardware on the market, but it definitely like uses what it can to give the upscaled kind of Animal Crossing experience that everybody wanted from New Leaf onto a console. Also, I want Tom Nook's shirt. Apparently they're going to be selling those at Hot Topic, and I'm going to buy one.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, there's not too, it's Animal Crossing. Like, aside from, like, you know, the plethora of new things with, like, the crafting systems, being able to pole vault over rivers instead of having to run to specific bridges, like, that's big. The path making system in this looks really good. They didn't have that in the demo because everybody just had the flimsy tools, which are, like, your level 1s that you get from, you know, sticks and stones and things like that. But, yeah, I will say my favorite thing in the booth was I got a picture of Tom Nook, and I remember I sent it, I'll put it on the screen here. I sent it to one of my friends, and she replied with, it was something to the lines of, like, I love how your, like, legs are as far away from him as possible, because you know he's going to break your knees. And, I don't know, it's funny. Okay, I'll put up the quote here. There's the quote. But yeah, it was fun. It was bubbly. It was the only game that Nintendo brought to PAX, and honestly, that was all it needed. Because it sold me on the game. It made me want to get it like day one, which that was what I was on the fence for, because I was debating between getting Doom Eternal or Animal Crossing. And aside from the fact that Doom Eternal would probably melt my laptop, I was like heavily leaning towards that because I'm planning to eventually invest in an actual PC build, be able to you know, get something decent, something that lets me run the games good. But yeah, Animal Crossing is going to be probably my day one purchase.
Epic.
It's nice, Jake. Hey Jake, how much do you know about Animal Crossing?
I know jack shit, except now you're on an island and probably safe from coronavirus.
You're bringing it back. Alright, Jake.
Yeah?
So while I was waiting for an hour to play Animal Crossing, what did you and Ethan do?
Well, we wandered around a bit. We looked around the, like, tabletop section for, like, dice and shit. And, there was one guy selling, like, legit armor. Not, like, cosplay stuff, like, actual, like, sheet metal armor.
Wait, there was a booth that was just selling armor.
Yeah.
Why did I never see this one?
Because fucking didn't walk by it.
I ran around the entire convention hall. How did I skip that?
He also had, like, leather, like, card-holding pouches that you can, like, strap to, like, your belt and stuff. And he was the guy who I saw have, like, a mug, like, one of the tankards on him. And I'm like, hey, like, you know, where'd you get that? I've been seeing that around. He's like, oh, go over to Wild Bill's, because that's exactly what he sounded like. Go over to Wild Bill's, and they got mugs, and, yeah. Then we got mugs, and then we, like, wandered around a little bit more. At some point we split up because he wanted to play this one game he found was like Get to the Orange Door or something.
What? I've never heard of this one.
I know you've heard of it because he told you about it while he was telling me about it.
Well, no. Get to the Orange Door.
Yeah, like something Orange Door. Basically, it's literally just that, Get to the Orange Door, but it involves, like, parkour aspects, and...
Okay, I got the Steam description if you want me to read it.
Sure.
Get to the Orange Door is an intense parkour platform in FPS set in the 80s-inspired retro-futurist world. With a mix of classic and modern first-person shooter mechanics, launch yourself gun-first into a neon synthwave virtual scape as you wall run, slide, clamber, and dash around each level at supersonic speeds. So an Ethan game.
Yeah. Well, it's not an Ethan game, it's not a Halo-like.
I mean, the little icon for their website looks remarkably like the Project Pantheon like character.
Anyway, so yeah, he went to play that. I didn't feel like it, so I kept wandering around. I ended up playing a game that I've seen at PAX the last 2 years, since like 2018, that I just never ended up playing there, that I decided to like wait in line for and get to. It's called Evergate.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that you always see that at PAX, because I see it too, and I never end up stopping.
I decided to play it. Well, there was like a little bit of an opening.
How was it?
It's actually pretty good. I actually really like it. I don't know if you would because it's a platformer, and you traditionally don't like platformers. But like, it's actually...
Yeah, Corey's out.
It's actually fun because like, it doesn't really matter like how fast you are at it, because like what makes it unique is it's a platformer and it has like the usual like, you know, jumping like on the 2D plane, but you can like shoot out this laser from like your character, and you can aim it at these crystals that all have like different powers and abilities. Like some of them give you like an added boost and kind of, you know, shoot you in a different direction. There's some that create more platforms. There are others that create like black holes that interact with like stuff around them. So like, it's a really interestingly creative platformer. It's got this, in my opinion, a very great like visual design, but also like I was able to hear like the music in it, and it's actually like, it's a very beautiful game, and I thought that the gameplay to it was fun and creative. So it's something that I can at least look forward like watching as it eventually comes out.
Okay, so I'm gonna correct you on one thing.
Oh?
It's not that I hate platformers, I hate uninspired platformers. That sounds legitimately fun.
It is.
Like, the reason, like, what happens with most platformers, it's you run around, you jump, there's an item that lets you shoot a thing, and that's it. Like, that's generally, like, the platformers that I avoid or I hate. Or,
yeah,
like,
no.
I just don't enjoy 3D platformers in general, too. Was this one 2D or 3D?
It was 2D, and it's not even like a, you know, what's it, like 2.5D or whatever?
Yeah, 2.5 where it hits, like, 3D models.
Yeah, no, like, it's just straight up 2D, and, like, what I enjoy about it is it's not a game that you have to pay attention to, like, being fast at necessarily, because, like, while you're shooting your, like, laser or whatever, like, it slows down time, and you can just aim it wherever you want. Like, you don't have to, like, rush through an entire section. You like have that little bit of breathing room. Yeah.
I want to play that now.
There's a demo. There's a demo out that you can play. I don't know.
Is it up on Steam?
Yeah, it's on Steam. I'm pretty sure it's free, and I haven't played it, but so I have no idea how comparable it is to like what I played at PAX, but I'm sure it would give you like a good starting point of what to expect from the game.
If I get the Steam link, I'll throw it in the description right here.
Yeah,
so
do it.
If anybody wants to check it out, that's what I'll try to do. Like for any of the games that we mentioned, I'll try to provide like the websites like that that the creators have, or because I know that Sanity had a Discord. I know that Trackher has a Discord as well. They also have a website.
Hey, what if you streamed it?
Jake.
Hello.
We're not. I'm still in the very early stages of streaming.
Yeah, and there's only one way to get past the early stages.
Hey guys, you should follow my tweets. I'm not going to do that.
Why not?
I could promote it, but it's also like I don't have a legit schedule. And the last time I streamed was a week ago.
Who cares about schedules?
Well, Twitch does. If I ever
do with that logic, with that logic, you'll never stream again.
If maybe, but like if I want to get affiliate, I have to be consistent.
Okay,
Twitch...
so like you're not getting affiliate immediately, but like, dude, stream, dude. Yeah, man, do it, bro.
As you're doing like that pep talk, I'll like crossfade in the link on the screen. I'm not going to put it in the description. People can type it.
Come on, step brother. You can play game on stream.
Jake.
Yes.
You're not going to hit me with a... What are you doing, step bro?
I think I just did.
I think you did, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright. Links in the description. It's going to be the bottom of it, though.
Yeah, speaking of step bro with big stepping feet to kill your brothers, we played Vox Machina again. I think we've talked about it
That is the worst segue for a mech fighting game that I could ever think. Like, Jake.
Yeah.
do you wanna retry?
So we played VR again in the VR free play. It's another thing that we did. Did you play it? Did you go there with us once or twice? Because Ethan and I went there separately.
I did it twice because I know Ethan did it a ton of times while we were at the Ace Watch.
Ethan did it a ton. We also did it like on our own, like 2 times. Yeah.
Yeah, because like I only was with you guys twice. So this game, Vox Machinae, right?
Have we talked about it?
I feel like we
talked
definitely
about it last
talked
time.
about it. Yeah, we definitely talked about it last time, but we'll retread ground just in case people don't want to go back.
It's been a year. All the viewers have probably like refreshed and left, and new people have joined.
Yeah, well, to those new people, hello. But yeah, hello, and welcome to our channel.
Yeah.
You want to talk video game? I'm not going to do that voiceover again.
So, for those who don't remember what it is, Vox Machina is this mech fighting game where you're sitting inside of a mech and you use the 2 controllers you get in VR to pull at different like levers and push different buttons and things like that in order to control the mech you're in. And you all fight in this like giant desert arena.
Rayman Robot is the best.
There's a number of different mechs that you can control, and they all have different like ups and downs to them.
But there's a correct choice.
Like there's a big bulky one that can take a hell of a lot of damage, but is super slow when moving around. There's ones that are weaker but incredibly fast. There's some that I think are more like aerodynamic, because there is like a jet mechanic where you can either send yourself flying forward or to the side or backward, or you can send yourself...
Yeah, you can fly around the map.
Yeah, straight up. And there are some I'm pretty sure have better like air maneuverability. There's one that when you're boosting, you get this sort of like giant ram face on you, and that's clearly the best one. I have vivid memories of ramming into people multiple times and taking off individual limbs every single time.
Dude,
It's like
it's
ram,
so much
there goes
fun.
one arm, ram, there goes their leg, ram, their other arm, and they eject, and you win.
Dude, the best feeling is when you line up perfectly and you're just using your rockets to boost forward and you pull the horn. like
Yeah.
like you
Because
just
there
fly
is
forward
also
and
a
like,
horn.
yeah. Oh, there's a horn. There's a comm system, which is horrible because the first time we played it, Ethan wouldn't stop.
And like what's also neat about the game is at any point you can eject yourself from your mech, and there's two things that can happen. You can either eject and then you have this like 10-second timer before you can re-enter the arena. But if
you can change your robots.
Yeah,
and,
but
like,
if your
weapons.
if your mech is destroyed, it's 20 seconds. But if you eject too early in the middle of a fight, that kill still goes to the enemy that did damage to you. So you kind of have to be like strategic about it, because you don't want to do it too early, or else you might be accidentally giving the enemy a kill that they might not have necessarily gotten. You don't want to do it too late, or else you're waiting twice as long to get back in.
I would never eject though.
I
That's
always
like the thing,
ejected.
that I never ejected because I was like fully committed to just keep ramming into people. Even when I had like one leg.
I would eject just to refresh like my mech. And then other times just like when literally everything was flashing like red and white and warning signs, like I would eject to make sure I like got the 10 seconds and not the 20.
It was just I forgot how much fun it is, and every time I play that game I always like it reminds me that I need to get a VR headset.
Like that's the one VR game I would want to get among others, but that's like the one I would want to get and like keep going to. Especially because it's one of the few games that actually wants you to sit down.
Yeah, no, it's a fully sit down VR game.
Like there have been so many times.
You're supposed to be sitting in the mech.
There have been so many times where like they want you to stand up and I like almost fall over. Not even from like I guess it's disorientation. Like I want to say it was last year or the year before. Ethan and I tried out this other VR game where you're literally like flying through space in like a spacesuit and you're shooting people, and like every time
really fun.
It is until you're like zooming forward and you're like leaning forward with it and you almost like fall over. Like it's actually like so disoriented because like you want to kind of like you know how when you're in like a train or something and you're standing, you kind of like
and then it breaks.
You like lean against the motion.
Yes.
It makes you want to do that, but you're standing still.
Oh my god.
Like that's the kind of like disoriented. Like it doesn't make me motion sick, but it makes me like, oh right, I'm not actually moving.
Yeah, because motion sickness is definitely a thing, especially like with VR games. Like that's a very real thing that happens, especially if the game's poorly optimized.
And then there was the time I played Outlast 2 in VR while standing.
That final moment doesn't work.
It's a time.
It's so scary. I hated it.
Oh, I loved it. I hated it. Because like horror games don't usually get horror in general doesn't usually get to me, but like VR is like where it's at. Like that's the genre I'd want to go into with VR.
I can handle horror films, but the moment that's a game, the moment that I have input, that's when it falls apart. Like literally, I stood in that like the room kind of like area that you start in.
Yeah.
I stayed there for like a significant period of time, and then the person around the demo just like took off my headphone, was like, "Are you going to move?" Or like.
Slight side tangent from PAXed, but the new Amnesia game has been announced.
Yeah, by the same company.
Yep.
Not the same franchise though, right?
No, same franchise.
Oh wait,
it's an Amnesia sequel.
Oh, direct sequel.
Yep. The only difference is the original one was made by Irrational Games, I'm gonna like
think so,
double
yeah.
check that. Amnesia, the Dark Dividend. Made by Frictional Games. Made by Frictional Games. However, the sequel, in air quotes, to it, A Machine for Pigs, that was made by a different developer.
And Machine for Pigs took away like all of the difficulty from the first game because it gave you an infinite lantern. It like the sanity mode wasn't as scary.
And I don't actually know if you could die in A Machine for Pigs.
I think you could, but it was just really lame.
I don't know if the monster was actually ever a threat.
Well, they never felt like a threat because you always had light. The reason that Amnesia Dark Descent worked so well is that, much like the name says, you're in the dark for such a significant period of time.
And like, well, the other thing that worked for it was you rarely could, especially on a first playthrough, like you could never tell if the monster you were seeing was real or not. Because there would be a ton of times they would run towards you, and then they would just vanish because they were illusions. But like, I don't think A Machine for Pigs had the same kind of like dread to it. And it was made by the Chinese Room. Yeah. So it was made by a different developer. Ooh. Apparently, that doesn't seem right. The Chinese Room made Dear Esther. And then A Machine for Pigs.
That doesn't sound right.
To Ryan, that would sound just about right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the new Amnesia game is being made by Frictional Games. I think I butchered the name again. It's being made by the creators of The Dark Descent. So, and it looks really promising. And back to PAXed, we got sushi burritos.
Yes. Oh my goodness. That was so good. Like, okay, so there's this place. It's called it's Yogi, right? Or Yoki.
Yeah, Yoki Express.
Yeah, Yoki Express in Boston. Amazing. It's like such a simple idea, but like I'm surprised not a lot of other places do it.
Yeah.
Cause like it's just a sushi roll, but burrito, and it's amazing and very filling. It's incredibly filling. Like that plus the miso was like more than enough.
Yeah.
It's very tasty, very nice, very enjoyable. I'm like so happy that we made it as like, you know, an unofficial tradition.
Yeah. A tradition that Ethan and I started when we went to one place that now doesn't exist.
Well, as far as you know.
We cannot find it. It is gone. Yeah, I think we've gone over this, where like Ethan and I went 2 years ago, got to a sushi place that had like takeout sushi that we got, and we also got those fun Japanese sodas. And then we went last year and with you, and we couldn't find it, and then we found the sushi burrito place with this guy from New York who was also looking for a sushi place, and then we all went together, and then we had sushi burritos, and then we followed it up this year with sushi burritos.
It's okay, so all this sounds fun, but you know what? I don't know why anytime we run into Boston with Ethan, I always have a horrible time.
Yeah, I don't know why either.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this it's not as bad as Shake Shack. I don't think anything will top that.
Top that.
Jake, I have a stutter.
So
Ah!
I'm bad word too, boy.
Oh! Alright.
What was
Anyways.
What was the bad experience this year?
It was running the
right.
North Station, having our phones die, and having us have to guess, like, exactly how to get back to your dorm.
Excuse me, I knew exactly how to get back to my dorm. I literally
Yeah,
walked you
after
through
we
it.
found Modern Pastry.
We didn't even find Modern Pastry. We found my route to Modern Pastry, and I know that area very well. Thank you very much. Anyway, we walked a very long way to get home after PAX, but you completely skipped over the important part of meeting Ace Watkins.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just wanted to jump to that. I didn't know if we were going to talk about the panel because
Why wouldn't we? We met
I
our
don't know.
president.
yes, we yes we did.
We went to a rally.
Yeah, and I got to scream a thing. Corey, put in the clip of you screaming a thing.
Business savvy. Business savvy. Yeah. What? His eye. Look at those eyes. I got stuck 2 hours earlier staring into his eyes. I almost didn't make it here, and that's exclusively the reason why.
So soulful.
Corey, put in the pictures of the two of us meeting Ace Watkins and shaking
Dude,
his hand.
I was, even though he was just like, hey, I'm not going to do handshakes because Corona's scary, and he's like, I'm going to give you a handshake. That's a good pose.
Hey, Corey. Add more layers
What?
and put our faces over our faces. Shaking.
Our faces over.
Yeah, put our podcast faces over the pictures of us.
Wait, like, should I have the normal pictures up anyways? Or
Have
like,
the
and then
normal
just
pictures
put
up, and then put our
podcast heads.
Microsoft Paint faces over our actual faces.
Okay, should I make a Microsoft Paint face for Ace Watkins?
Of course.
Got it. All right, there we go.
Yeah. You know, to hide
Beautiful.
identities, of course. We don't.
Yeah,
we,
after
we,
we've
we don't want we don't want him assassinated and have him lose his kill streak.
He's a very public figure. He's on Twitter.
Yeah.
And, like, it's huge on it. So if anyone doesn't know who Ace Watkins is, Ace Watkins is from The Hard Drive, which is a web magazine. It's like it's kind of like a parody type thing.
It's the Onion, but for tech and nerds.
Yeah, which I like a lot. But they decided to create this character named Ace Watkins, who's running to be the first gamer president of the United States. And he had a campaign rally at PAX East. And if you have an hour to just sit down and listen to one of the funniest panels you'll ever hear, do it.
And
Oh my goodness, I was laughing the entire time.
And we, ladies and gentlemen, got front row seats.
Yeah, we were in the front row, like I ran into him before I went to the bathroom. That was before the panel.
No, you ran into him going to the bathroom.
Well, yeah, I was in the stall. I was taking a dump, and then he came in, and I was like, "Mr. Ace Watkins?" No, it was I was running into the restroom, and he was there, and I was like, "Ace Watkins?" He's like, "Yeah, how are you doing?" I was like, "I gotta use the restroom." I was like, "Cool, I gotta use the restroom." And he's like, "Are you going to be at the rally?" And I'm like, "Heck yeah, man!" And he's just like, "Sweet, I can't wait to see you there." And then we got front row seats.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun. The crowd was great. I will say the question segment was a bit long in the tooth because a lot of people wanted to be dedicated to like being in character.
Yeah, and like, yeah. We know everybody's got lore, and yeah.
But what I hope, if you people watch it, they at least see the clip of them describing how Ace stacks up against like Bernie Sanders and well, this was before a bunch of people dropped out, where it's like Mike Bloomberg and everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And like the whole thing where he's just like, for all intents and purposes, the penguin represents Tulsi Gabbard. Like,
Yeah.
like just so matter of fact. Like that. It's so
Mario,
fun.
you know, I don't even want to get into it just because like it's such a masterpiece in its delivery that like talking about it is doing it a disservice.
I will say that clip that I played earlier of the Tom Nook slide, that entire sequence is one of the funniest things ever, because that was originally a presentation that was supposed to be about like defense, right?
Yeah. And like the entire time, I don't think it's shown in the stream. I think it just like shows the slides during this, but like Ace Watkins has such like a defeated, disappointed look on his face the entire
his head
time.
is in his hands. He's looking over at his sister. Well, the sister's obviously, other girl, like actress, whatever.
Yeah,
but like her Twitter is so funny. Like, I didn't realize, because I made the joke of like, getting lost in Tom Nook's eyes, and she agreed with that. I didn't know about her Twitter before that. I went on her Twitter, and she has a picture that she took of Tom Nook with like a fishing rod, like at that Animal Crossing booth, and it just is captioned, "I found my new husband," or something like that. And I'm like, yes, like, love it.
But yeah.
Fantastic panel. Definitely listen to it. Man, dude, I don't really know what else to talk about as far as PAX. I mean, we obviously we don't have the virus because of PAX. So
that we know of.
Yeah, we didn't touch our face. We didn't cough towards people and they cough back, that kind of thing.
I mean, it does take 2 weeks to go into effect, so you never know.
And if I die from it, whatever.
You probably won't because we're not the demographic at risk, so yeah.
Yeah. To everyone who is in the demographic for risk, why are you listening to our podcast?
Basically, don't sneeze on your parents or your grandparents, and like you're good.
The moment you feel sick, stay in your room. Like that's pretty much it.
I think one of my favorite things to come out of coronavirus are all the people saying like, I genuinely have to get toilet paper, but I don't want to be that guy stocking up on toilet paper.
Yeah. Dude, I hate how the moment that it's like the virus is happening, people treat it like it's the fucking T virus from Resident Evil, and they're planning for the zombie apocalypse.
I mean, like the thing that's like bad.
Wash your hands. Like that's it.
But like, it's not it's airborne. Like,
I know.
Like washing your hands helps, but like it's not like bulletproof.
Yeah, it's not bulletproof, but like people are.
Plus, like if you wash your hands, like they can still get dirty later. It's like unless you're washing your hands like after every handshake, like.
Yeah, I know.
It
but
helps,
it's just
but like that's part of like the issue.
Okay. Yeah, do the shit that like if you're worried about getting sick, do the shit that you would do for that. Make sure you don't touch your eyes or your face. Don't do like stupid shit. I know that like since it is like the airborne type stuff, it's like it's tricky. It's a tricky thing to like track. But the thing is that like I feel like it's like where the country is at like right now, the biggest hurdle when it comes to defeating this is that nobody knows how to quarantine it. Because now they're just like, okay, everybody go home. If you're sick, go home. Like just stay home, spread it to your family, like enjoy it.
I mean, the thing is, I don't think we really know how to like treat it, because we don't really know.
There isn't one yet.
Yeah.
It won't be for a few months, right?
Like it spreads very easily. Like I have no idea where. Like I've heard that like for every like one person who gets it, like it'll easily spread to like an average of like 5 new people. Like
it's like a hydra where you like cut off
like,
one head to grow back kind of
like
thing.
Symptoms don't show up for 2 weeks, so like you could be walking around for 2 weeks before you realize it, and then you think back to like all the people you've interacted with in those 2 weeks. It does like disproportionately affect like older people, which is generally the trend because of like their immune system going down, but apparently like this is particularly bad, like a particularly bad case. And then just like, yeah, I think another problem is like, at least to me, I have no idea where the fuck it is. Like, it started in China, right?
Started in China.
It started in China, and then it spread to other places in Asia. It's for some reason only really affecting northern Italy, like unproportionately to the southern part of Italy.
Aren't they planning to quarantine the entire like country?
I think they've already done that.
because the original talks was just going to be like just the northern bit.
I think it's the
like,
entire like country.
I want to. Okay, Corey, fact check. Put it up here.
But like for some reason it was really affecting northern Italy, but not the surrounding countries to northern Italy. But it wasn't as bad in southern Italy, which you might think it is, because that's literally like all like
Tourism,
like waterfront, like all of that. But
yeah, literally the existence of Venice should make it like a prime spot.
exactly the same reason why like Seattle and Boston are being hit, because those are not only big cities, but like they're like open to like everything. But yeah, no. So like I don't know if we know how it's like traveling, maybe. And I don't know why. I don't know if this is just like a regular thing. I've at least been seeing like a lot of memes about how like when people are sick, like they're basically dead and like stay in bed at home. But then like with coronavirus, they're like, oh man, I've really gotta get to this concert, man. Like,
Yeah.
for some reason they're just not staying at home.
Yeah, because like, okay, I'll put it this way: with the way that everything's going, like the virus is happening during like prime festival season for like a lot of people. Because I mean, like Firefly's coming up. You have Rampage. You have like, didn't Coachella get canceled?
I don't follow Coachella.
Yeah, well, I don't really follow it too closely anymore because of how corporate it's gotten. Like, I don't like it. It's literally the only reason that event exists now is for influencers, and it makes me angry. But like, I see so many big events get canceled. That's why I was so surprised that PAXed was still going.
Mm-hmm. Even though people were like dropping out of that.
Yeah, but I guess a big thing, if there's one big takeaway from all this, be safe. Know what you could do to like at least lessen the chance of getting sick from this. And if you do contract it, if you do get sick, don't jump on a plane. Like, I know that flights are wicked cheap right now. Like, there's plane tickets to like Florida for $40. Like, that's amazing. That is amazing.
If you get sick, just remember you got it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Unless there's anything else you'd like to say.
Minecraft coming soon?
I do want to try to stream Minecraft with you at some point.
Great.
So people will be able to see how ineffective we are at working together.
Oh, and maybe live recording coming soon.
Yeah, because that's something that we want to throw out there just as an idea of possibly doing live streams of the podcast, where we would still upload them, like, of course, to YouTube and everything, and we probably will do the edits still, like the little effects and everything.
Oh, that's not even what I was talking about.
What are you talking about?
I'm going back up to New Hampshire. We can record in person.
Right! I didn't know what you were talking about. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Corey, you haven't even gone. Like, you're not even convinced you're going to be like on Twitch very long.
We're going to have an Ethan episode again. Maybe a special episode that will actually go up when we intend it to.
Well, we intend it to for whenever.
Yeah, but you say whenever, and now it's incredibly irrelevant.
What do you mean? We never talked about anything that happened.
We recorded it in December!
Yeah, but we didn't talk about anything that was happening in December.
Yeah, we directly reference the thing that we're talking about in like an episode after.
But like, I specifically tried to derail that like conversation.
Yeah, but we got back to it multiple times. Okay, whatever. Well, anyways, thank you for listening to this week's episode of Pixel Venture Podcast. I've been Corey.
And I've been in the middle of a quarantine city.
But you'll be coming up to get some sushi.
Back to you, Tom.
See you guys next week.
See ya.